Hello, hello.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
Ho, ho, ho.
How is everyone?
Good.
Good. Get everyone entered in here. All right. So
Happy
happy
Saturday. Saturday. Happy
Saturday,
Thursday.
buddy.
My mind. I just was trying to get everybody excited. See who's paying attention.
It worked for me.
I was like,
Yeah,
wait a minute, it's Thursday. Don't confuse me.
yeah. I'm gonna give everybody a minute to jump on here.
Well, while we're getting everyone on, anyone have any REO wins they'd like to share? Any success stories that you'd like to share?
I got one, but I can't share it. I'm looking right at him though.
REO, anyone, I mean, we have some, I guess we have some things we can share wins,
Yeah.
win
Well, I
wise.
want to on this call, what I want to do is I want to kind of wait till everybody got here so I don't have to repeat myself.
Well, it's being recorded.
But one of the things, well, no, because one of the things I want
I'm
to
just
ask
kidding.
is, yeah, first of all, this is being recorded, so everybody knows. But I wanted to find out who, who's done REO, like by a show of hands, like in the past, right? Okay, so all right. And who has an REO property right now? It's a listing. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of us, five, okay. Okay, cool. Just want to try to read my audience here. So let's go ahead and start with wins, like Kelly said. I just muted myself. Who's got, it doesn't have to be an REO win, okay? But just who's got a win. I'll go ahead and start. We have an REO that just went on the market yesterday in Long Beach, and it's right there in Naples. It's an island within Long Beach. And here's the I'm finding a lot more of the REOs everywhere, and this is relative. So you people, back east and stuff, I know you have lower price points, but relatively speaking, they're higher, right? Like so this one we got is just under 2 million. And it's turnkey, ready to go. It was an Airbnb. And a lot of Airbnbs I'm seeing coming to the REO market, right? This particular borrower with this Airbnb has like 5 different loans, 5 different properties in default. We almost got 2 of them, but unfortunately we only got the one. But we got the better of the 2 that were here locally. Um, and anyway, so that's our win. Who's got another one?
Good win. Just finished doing one for face servicing. It's gone now.
It's gone? What do you mean? It sold that quick?
So.
Oh, Michael Brown. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
You're in North Carolina?
Yep.
Nice. Okay. Congratulations.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard that Faye's been doing a lot of assignments to agents outside of Faye's real estate company. Faye has a real estate company, not as big as Alta, I don't believe, but it's basically a similar operation. Faye Servicing is a servicer, and what they did is they have their own real estate team so that when they get REOs, they can assign them to family, right, to their own brokerage. But I'm seeing a lot of these Faye Servicing, from these calls and others that I've been on, where agents are around the country are getting assets, and even in like Florida, where I know that they have a pretty big presence of Faye Servicing realtors. So that's good. All right, let's do one more win while people are jumping on here. I remember this is a mastermind that's brand agnostic. There's people here from all different brands, Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams, EXP, et cetera, Berkshire Hathaway. So, we're just going to be talking about REO and masterminding, about things that have happened, things happening, future projections, and just try and help each other out with being better at REO. And for those of you that don't have REO or haven't had it, there's maybe a couple of those people in here. There's kind of a changing of the guard, in my opinion, that's going to be happening. Bob Norell, said that 2 years ago at the 5-Star Conference. A lot of us are aging out, so to speak. The next REO cycle, we probably won't be in it, which I'm okay with. But I'd like to, honestly, sharing is caring. I'd like to share with the agents that are younger that are interested in it, because the REO is cyclical, and we're going to have more REO 10 15 years from now, right? So who's got something to say about REO? I just want to introduce Eric. Eric Bengal is with ADR. I wanted to introduce Joe, you to Eric. You'll be getting an email, Eric and Darren and Delgado. I just wanted, because I want to introduce Joe to you all. He used to work a lot of REO with me back in the day. And still, Joe, when's the last REO you sold?
It's been some years. San Diego just hasn't had much of anything over the last years. So, but we did plenty back in the day.
And how many offices? What?
Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Good, how are you? I keep wanting to say hi, but I didn't get the right opportunity. So nice to see you.
Yeah. So I think what Jeff was alluding to is during the last REO run, I built a company around my inventory. And at one point, we ended up with 5 offices, 130 agents, and 20 staff working on the volume that we had. So, looking to get started. Yeah.
So I always say Joe is like the San Diego version of me. And then you got Robert, or not Robert Wyckoff, but what's his name? Raphael, who was in California and now is, gosh, I don't know where he is. He's all over the darn country, but he's got agents all over the country, and he does a lot of REO. Kelly, what were you going to say? You were going to talk a little bit about our recent REO challenges and things to share with everybody. What was it? I know it was the personal property eviction. We were going to talk a little bit about that.
Sorry, I've been on the road all day. Yeah, I think just personal property evictions, just some of the challenge. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of. I don't know what challenges we had. I'm sorry. You need to help me here.
Well, we recently did a personal property eviction, and the borrower wanted to schedule like 3 different dates, and and like a bunch of time, probably at least 10 hours in total to remove his stuff. It was the Airbnb property that I was talking about, to remove his stuff, even though he knew he was in foreclosure. He knew the trustee sales coming. He knew all this, and then he waits until it happens, and then he wants to come get his property. The silver lining on the cake on this one was it was an Airbnb, as I said. So we had our photography crew come in and take the photos before he took out his furniture. So we were able to get
I made the beds and everything.
Yeah. Kelly's cleaning the tables and making the bed. So I'm taking video from my asset manager so that I can make sure that I capitalize on that, right? Because and I did. And then the management at this particular asset management company was really pleased with that. And I see a lot of good things coming from them. So anyway, so the personal property eviction, I just wanted to share, when you do those, always have the a form releasing you and the bank or asset management company from the liability of trashing what's left, because they're always going to leave stuff, right? and they might, you know, come back and say, oh, I accidentally left that or whatever. So you want to have them sign something that's, you know, releases you from all liabilities. And the key to that, I learned my lesson the hard way in my years of REO, is have them sign that right there before you unlock that door, right? Because once you unlock that door and they get in there and get their stuff, you're not getting it signed. So I want to talk about that. And then, oh, and then as far as timing, you know, you schedule the time that's good for you, not for them, right? So make sure that you're scheduling it around what your dollar producing activities are. Don't, you know, give up prospecting for a morning to go sit, you know, to stand guard while they take out their property from an asset.
Hey, Jeff, one thing I can add too to that, be very cognizant and aware of the fact that there are veterans sometimes, or active duty military that are losing homes. And if personal property eviction can be challenging, probably state by state, the rules are different. But if you find out that you have active duty military personnel, be real careful when you're trying to remove their property.
Yeah, that's a
Yep.
really good point. That's
Very
a
good
really
point.
good point.
Every situation is different, so I'm happy you brought that up.
Hey, Jeff, for the release of claims form, we instituted best practice years ago. Even when you're doing relocation assistance, most clients just send the check. Here's a
Mhm.
check, meet the occupant. We already have copies of ID. We get that when they sign their forms. But
Smart.
when we go to actually hand them that check, we have them sign a release of all claims form before we give them their check.
Yeah, yeah.
And we make a
that's
copy of the check and have them sign that as well, that they've
Mhm.
received it.
Oh, that's a really good idea. I don't think I've ever done that, to be honest with you.
It's one extra step that takes 10 minutes to prep for, as far as
Mhm.
just copying some extra documents, bringing them with you.
Yeah,
But when you're there, you just tell them why. It's just, this is your receipt. And this, you know, before you sign this, do you have everything? And they say yes. It's like, well, in case I find anything,
Mhm.
you're releasing it. I've not had a problem having it signed.
Yeah. You can't be overcautious. And if it's not in writing, it didn't happen, you know, which relating to personal property, you know, the notice of abandonment, right? Every state's different, so I'm not going to get state specific here, but you want to make sure that, excuse me, that when you have a notice of abandonment, that you post it, take a picture of it, posted, you want to mail it, you want to actually write out the envelope, put a stamp on it, return address, and take a picture of what's going into the envelope. Nothing's to say you mailed it, right? Unless you did it certified, of course. But having that, not many people are going to go through all that trouble and not mail it, right? So you know, to you know, Jeff Russell or former occupants, right? Because it may have been a rental, may not have been the borrower, Jeff Russell. It may have been a renter. But those are all things that you want to do to CYA. And not CY cover asset manager, cover your. So thanks for adding that, Stephanie. Oh, by the way, if you guys and gals could put your city that you're in, because we get a lot of referrals all over the country from asset managers often. And if we have your first and last name and where you're at, that's helpful. I know that Eric here, Bengal, he actually has what do I want to say? How do I say this? Basically he works for ADR, and they have a lot of properties to be assigned, and there's a lot of opportunity there. So not to put you on the spot, Eric.
No problem.
I've been fortunate enough to get properties from Eric's group, Kelly and I. So it's real. So you know, put your last name and put where you're at, because Eric is the man. We're fortunate to have him on this call. So, all right. So anything else on personal property we want to talk about? Anybody want to add anything? Oh, I know what I want to say, actually. Since we're talking about cash for keys, when you're going to clear the home to make sure everything's been taken out, right? Should be everything that's not attached, they can take. Washer and dryer, normally they can take, but if it's attached, they leave it, okay? But when you look in the sheds in the backyard, look under the house, literally with a flashlight, and look in the attic, because I can't tell you how many times I've personally had to pay for a trash out on a cash for keys property. Cash for keys property, there should be no cash out, and the bank is not going to pay for a cash out when you did cash for keys, unless you reach out to them and get permission for the occupant to leave, whatever it is. Get photos. Photos are always super uber important. Videos are even better. I know that asset managers love videos, right? We do videos on all of our properties. They love it. And when you're marketing them, Matterport, 3D tour, they love video. Because think about it, you got to bring them to that property, that asset from Texas or New York or wherever they are remotely. They're never going to walk foot into that home, and you got to tell them how it smells too, right? Because we have a property in Riverside that's going to market this week, I think tomorrow or Monday. We had them pull the carpet out, right? Because it stank so bad. I kind of went off on a tangent there for my checking the attics. But anyway, no, that's really important to check that, because you don't want to be left holding the bag, because if it's hazardous material, paint and stuff like that, that's expensive to trash that out. Even if it's a small quantity, it's expensive. So and plus if the asset manager finds out that you did that, you don't want to get DNU'd. Do not use. Stephanie, what market are you in?
I'm sorry, I'm in Florida, so Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough, Tampa, St. Pete.
Kelly, can you fix that Stephanie's name for her? That way we all know.
Say that one more time. Oh,
Steph-
shoot.
Tampa, St. Pete.
St. Pete. Got it.
Yep, that's how clients know us.
That's where's that at? St. Pete's
So we're on the Gulf Coast, the West
Gold
Coast.
Coast, that's right.
So
That's right. Okay. So you're on the opposite coast of Angela there. Right? Because
Angela,
Angela,
where
you're
are
on
you?
Angela, which coast? Where are you? I should know where Angela's
Yeah,
at.
I'm in Central Florida near the West Coast too. I'm about an hour north of her.
Oh, only an hour. Okay.
Ocala, yeah, hour and a half.
Okay. And Joe Gummerson's in San Diego. We already said that.
And I was gonna say, Joe's on this call. He's in my market. Where are you? I'm in the Brady Bunch view. Hold on.
Wait, who's that?
There he
Oh.
is. Joe Coble.
Oh, okay. Oh, the Brady Bunch view.
Yes,
would
where
be me.
everybody's all lined up. It's like the Brady Bunch view.
Yeah.
And I have to go
Yes.
finding people again.
Good to see you all.
Good
Good
to see you too. Who's going
Good.
to who's going to 5-star? Who's going to NADP in Boca?
I actually have a family
This one.
stuff going on. I can't make it to 5-star this year. It'll be next year.
Oh, bummer.
darn.
Well, so who's going to Boca though? I heard some people going to 5-star. Is anybody going to Boca other than Kelly and I?
Oh, I'll be in Boca.
Who's that?
Stephanie.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, yeah, because you're Boca. How far is Boca from you?
There's no straight way to Boca. We need a new road across the state. I either have to go 2 hours south out of my way or 2 hours north out of my
Oh,
way.
no, really? Oh my
Oh, it's no
God.
big deal. I actually have property as far south as Punta Gorda
Uh-huh.
right now. So I'll go the long way south and do my property inspections on the way over.
Nice. How many
Yeah,
assets? How
time
many
management.
assignments are you carrying right now as we speak?
Probably about 25,
Nice. Wow. That's awesome.
some commercial.
Oh, some commercial too. Okay. Yeah, I keep hearing from a lot of agents, some that are, somewhat REO agents. So I say somewhat, dabble in it. And there's not going to be any REOs or much REO, and everybody's got equity. And it's when I had 180 active listings, it was selling about 35 a month back in 2009. People used to ask me, "Oh, Jeff, how did you get all these assets?" Well, everybody told me that it wasn't coming, and I just kept going after it, right? And lo and behold, I was blessed, right? So, yeah, I don't. It's not going to be 09 again, I don't think, but I do strongly feel that it's going to be a big chunk of our business, and hopefully we don't. I think the ones that have been in REO at least once, like myself, won't put all their eggs in one basket. I did that on the last wave, And I learned a valuable lesson because, you know, it's like musical chairs when the music stopped, when you got, you know, all these expenses monthly and 15 people on W-2 and everything stops, it's devastating. So won't
If you
make that.
if you keep your inventory diversified, I mean, all of us have been doing this long enough now that
Yeah.
it's not just about REO, but there's a lot of ancillary product because of REO. So
Mhm.
it really is, it's not like I'm carrying 25 REO. Those are just ready to go. I've got a lot of rehabs going right now. I
Right.
should have been a GC, I guess. I have absolutely no desire. I just got off. That's why I was a few minutes late. I was on the phone with my GC. But it's even with those, I probably have 10 in some sort of repair right now, 15
Right.
that are getting either on the market or getting ready. And
What
then a few more that have just come in, they're still being evaluated.
What are you finding more? It sounds like you're doing a lot of rehabs. Your clients are doing a lot of rehabs versus just putting them on the market.
If they make sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So they'll look at BPO.
it really does have to make sense.
Mhm.
And not just for the sale, but for the after the sale.
You mean the ARV?
Well, no, so like I mean, it has to make sense for me to recommend repairs. If it needs 100,000 and it's only going to bring in 90, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
Unless there's 1,000 houses on the market and we need to sell ours first, then it makes sense
Yep.
to lose a little money to shorten your marketing time.
Right.
It's up to the client. What's your threshold for holding costs?
Yeah.
But some of them are just, don't forget, I'm in Florida. We just had a tropical storm go through.
Oh yeah.
I had houses that were questionable to begin with. Now some of them are just like, we got to come off the market, replace the roof.
Oh
You know,
no.
there's just some stuff that has to get done. And it's not necessarily for increased value. It's just now I have a house that's stigma because it got storm damaged.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to fix it.
Right.
It still might not be worth more than what we already had it on the market for, maybe a little bit. But it just depends. I let my client make their decision on how they want to proceed.
Mm-hmm.
And have a lot of good contractors.
Yeah. That's another thing I was going to ask about. So contractors, how many bids are your clients asking you to get, like, in at what thresholds?
It's client specific. I mean, they're all different. So I noticed at least thresholds went up. It used to be like 2 bids for over $500. I'm like, that's everything.
Yeah, right.
If I want to get the grass cut, I could need 2 bids. Depending on how long it's been vacant.
Yeah.
I judge it. If you could lose a 2-year-old in the lawn, it's going to be $500. If you can still see your toddler's head, it's going to be about $350. So I see tolerance going up with some clients. Usually, like, you only need 2 bids if it's over $2,500 or $3,500, and then it's more manageable. I don't tell my vendors
Yeah.
any of that.
Yeah. Oh, your vendors.
I need
Yeah,
to.
right.
I want to keep them honest and keep them saving money for my clients. I don't want anybody getting greedy. So
I used to approve bids to put properties in conveyance condition. So it was a 500 across the board for two bids. But it's nice to hear if it's gone up because that creates a lot of work.
for certain things, it's gone up. What I have noticed now is for some clients is rekey bids. Like they want bids even when we're occupied, just so that we're ready when it goes vacant, what that rekey bid's gonna look like. And I have a 7-unit Airbnb I just got, and I'm like, I might have 25 doors. I don't know. I can't even tell yet. Yeah, I mean, and getting bids for those when they're occupied is a little tough, but
yeah,
we just put a caveat in there that here's how many doors I saw, and here's per lock if I need additional.
Right. What about who's paying your contractors? Are they asking you to pay your contractors? And the contract, like I'm talking about the 20,000, 30,000 plus. contractor bills? Are they asking you to front that or not?
No,
They're not, okay.
I have.
Yeah, I have too. And
I
I know
mean,
that some still are.
I've done it, we used to do it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I had to front a $60,000 commercial roof once, never again. That client was great. I will tell you, I got paid for the record, I was paid in 24 hours.
Wow.
And that was before wires. They FedExed a check, like it was done. But I had a roofer in my office. I had no choice. He wanted his money. And so I'm like, well, this hurts. So I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Well, at least it was only for a day.
It was only a day. They took care of it right away. But no, the big stuff I've noticed is paid direct from the client. I tell my contractors that ahead of time. If they're doing large jobs, I tell them to put their draw schedule in their bid. Because it's not fair to them either. If you're doing a 60, 80, $100,000 rehab,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be accountable to my client and put a reasonable draw schedule in there. But if a job is going to take 6 weeks, or in Florida, if they're going to get held up for weather, it's not fair to a GC to be out $100,000 either. Just put your draw schedule in there so it's upfront and can get approved.
Mm-hmm.
So we do that. And then you'll notice some of the clients now, they don't even have you pay over a certain dollar limit. So
Right.
they'll say anything over, for example, $2,500, you submit the bill and the W-9 or, whatever it is, and they'll direct pay.
Right.
But if it is like for ADR, for example, I had one that came that was not being handled by their field service. Like
Mm-hmm.
I got it, they had done the eviction, but nothing else. And so, it was, I already had overgrowth and I didn't want code violations, and the carpet had to come out. Speaking of, it was a heavy odor. It was a heavy marijuana odor. You could have probably gotten a contact high.
Oh, marijuana. That wasn't so bad.
It was so strong. But I had to get that one cleaned up right away, and I paid that vendor and just submitted and ADR reimbursed quickly. So
Yeah.
I mean, I know most of them are under 30 days now, so that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of them pay quick. Some of them, I remember going down to an asset management company in Irvine. I won't name them, but I had to go down in person and basically
Be like, here's my stuff from 6 months ago. Can I?
nine months ago. 9 months ago.
Everybody's been really quick. I haven't noticed anybody slow, as long as your documentation's in order.
Yeah, and my thing is, like, when you've got a property preservation company that'll do it, can do it, or you can hire somebody. I always want to go with let me hire somebody, because everybody here knows the property pres 99% of the time is horrific. But then you end up, carrying that cost for however long it takes to get reimbursed when it's your person versus so it's like a catch-22, which one do I use?
But the nice thing about hiring your pres, if you have it, if you have good pres people, that's another set of eyes on a house.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Because the property pres won't tell you anything. In fact, they don't even take pictures. They don't even take pictures when they're done doing the work. You should be going out there, but they won't even provide you pictures.
So, at least my pres people will be out and about. Oh, when's the last time you were out? Well, I was there on Tuesday. So, I'll be there in a few days. Oh, we wanted to let you know, found the key in the door. Great. That's fabulous. Thanks so much. Don't worry. We already checked the house and I sent you pictures and the key's back in the lockbox. And I'm like, now I'll be there tomorrow. But I'm like looking, I'm like, I was just there 6 days ago. I mean, the house was fine.
Yeah.
So, it's just nice to have your own people look.
So what are we seeing on commissions with this new NAR thing, the buyer side commission? Has anybody seen any changes from any asset management companies?
For us, at least for our asset management companies, they've been the same. They still want to offer some type of compensation for the buyer.
Yeah.
I know the ADR is sending out a form tomorrow. They're going to have us sign for each one of our referrals from them too. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like in the morning.
What do you mean? What is that?
Tanya Willis sent an email this morning
about ADR properties getting it. We haven't seen the form yet, Jeff.
Okay.
They're just it's just an addendum. It's probably something similar to what we've done to our listing agreements, I'm sure. I don't know. Eric, do you have any insight on that?
No, I was gonna actually ask you guys. They
Oh.
keep me in the dark.
So
We'll know in the morning.
sounds like they're gonna do a amendment addendum to show what they're paying the buyer side. So they're still gonna pay. They're not saying they're gonna pay zero and they're gonna negotiate when the offer comes in.
So what I've seen, guys,
Hey, Larry.
this is Larry, and on some of our listings. So I don't think our clients are going to adjust the commission. We just can't advertise it. We can't represent it, right? So we are going to have to field more calls to this. We're going to have to talk to people through. I was doing this with 2 of our HUD properties, in Arizona, and it was like, look, put it in the offer. Like, don't leave it up to chance. Make sure that you have your buyer broker on your side of things, and then write it into the offer, right? The client's going to come back. They probably aren't going to increase the commission, right? If they're offering 2, they're probably not going to go up to 3, but they'll come back and be like, look, we'll accept this offer at 2%. Do you guys want to accept it? Yes or no, right? And it's just going to be negotiation. So this is where we're going to have to over document a lot of stuff. Make sure that we COIA and do as much as we can there.
So the reason I brought that up is because I want to know, but the other reason is I have a property that this is a $3 million REO. Agent wrote an offer, and in
Hello,
that
this is
offer,
Mark.
Mark, you mute.
Hello?
Kelly, can you mute Mark? Where is he? Oh, there he is. I got it. Okay. So they wrote an offer for like 2.7 or whatever it was. And the agent says verbatim, one of the things that they wanted, she said 3% contracted commission. So she's asking for 3% contract. Her contracted was between her and her buyer, right? Contracted. So 3% contracted commission. And I was like, there's no way the asset manager is going to approve that. Well, the asset manager didn't approve it, but the investor that owns the property went from 2% to 2.5%. I was shocked. I was like, and I'm still getting 2%, by the way, on the list side. I'm like, wait a minute, it was 2 and 2. Now you asked for 2.5, and they're going to give it to you, and they're going to give you your price on the house.
I think it's new and we have a lot of stuff that's going to shake out, but right now, what I find is don't laugh, it's around here somewhere because right now it's under a bunch of files that came in, but okay. So right now I run around town, usually with a bunch of stuff in my car, in my purse, but I have this handy dandy spreadsheet here. Okay, call me old fashioned, I like paper.
Is that your REOs?
This is the REO. All right. And next to it is the commission being offered by my seller on each one and any tech fee. Some have tech fees, some don't.
Yeah, right.
So the agent calls, whether that offer is coming direct to me or being uploaded like on Bid on Homes or Prop Offers or whatever. I'm like, as of today, here is what my seller is offering you. And when you upload your offer, if the buyer's agent commission doesn't, show, put it in there as a concession, label it buyer's agent commission. You can say per relayed from listing agent. I don't care. I gave it to you over the phone. I didn't put anything in writing. But that's what they're paying today. And I always remind them anything can change. So if you're going to wait a week to submit an offer, you need to call me back and find out.
That's good. Oh, that's a good point. Subject to change.
And everything is subject to change. Everything is always subject to change. But I just run down the list with them real quick and they're like, oh, well, I have an agreement. Some of them don't get it yet. I have an agreement that gets me paid 2.5 and you're paying 2. And I'm like, I'm not your broker. You're going to need to figure out the rudimentary math here. I have no comment.
Oh my God, Kelly.
Just in case you're testing me. I'm like, I have no comment. But most I've gotten a few offers where they're asking for more than what my seller's paying. They didn't call first and I just pick up the phone, they'll call after and I'll let them know. And they'll send me a revised offer with what I said I'm paying or what my seller is paying.
Right.
They don't even argue about it. Okay, I'm like, okay.
Well, that's a good agent. Real quick, I just want, because we just got a new list.
Hi, Brandy.
We did, huh?
I said, hi, Brandy Nelson.
Hi, Brandy. So everyone asked about the commission, right? Well, go figure. I just got a contract for our listing that I just took photos. We just took photos at. So anyways, they're still offering a commission. Selling agent 2%. So, and that's brand new. Just today, just got it. So I told my team not to accept it because I wanted to tell everyone. about it.
Yay.
So
It's,
so it's gonna, I mean, to be honest with you, it's changing the way we do business, but for the REO clients, they're still gonna pay. I mean, even our sellers, traditional sellers still want to get, most sellers want to give something. I mean, I'm not worried about this mumbo jumbo, but I did want to see how it was written with this new, with the seller, right? Because this is a new contract. So it just says the same exact thing. They didn't change anything. But also we're still signing the addendums from like 10 years ago. So they haven't updated their addendums either. So
First loss guarantee, which is PHH, they just sent out an email today. The only thing that makes me a little nervous about the way they said it is when we submit the offer, we put it in their portal, right? They want us to put in the commission, in the instruction box, what the buyer is willing to pay the agent. Well, of course, our buyer broker agreement has to match the SPBB, which is asking the seller to pay. So it doesn't mean the buyer is actually wanting to pay me 3%. I'm putting in 3% because I can't get paid less. So now I'm thinking, wait, are they actually saying that if I put in there, if they give me a buyer broker agreement, it says 2.75 or whatever it is, because that's what I told the agent that they're going to get. And I put in there, their buyer is willing to give them 2.75. Are they not going to pay them commission?
Yeah, wow.
So I got to get clarification on that because that just came out today. And I was like, wait a minute, that is different. So
Brandy, is that going to add to our emails going back and forth already?
Yes, and so I need to call and ask them. So I'm going to try to call them because I just got it today and they said they're going to redo. There's going to be a whole bunch of tasks I'm going to get tomorrow and they're redoing everything. And to go ahead and take out the tech fee because, you know, it says, even though we're not in Accelerus yet, you know how it says deducted from commission? Well, you can't put commission on any of our MLSs, so you'll get fined for that. So they want us to take that out as well.
You have to. I tried putting in buyer to pay or buyer's agent to pay buyer fee of $295 or buyer's agent to pay tech fee of $175 at closing. That's all I said was at closing. I didn't say where it was coming from. I'm not offering to pay you anything. In fact, you have to pay my client something. And 3 supervisors at my MLS board agreed that it was okay. And the night of the deadline, I went through every MLS, every active, every pending, every temporarily off market, every canceled, everything except for solds because they're sold and that's it. I made sure there was no word commission. I mean, I must have triple checked these things. And the next morning I got a phone call from MLS because thank God there was a note on my account. And I had talked about this with another broker and he's like, no, I was told you couldn't. I'm like, well, 3 people told me I could. I'm disclosing something that you're going to have to pay. Yep, sure enough, somebody higher than all of them called me and said, it's a $500 fine, no questions asked for each one. And just as I was about to blow a gasket, she's like, we will give you until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And this was Tuesday and I was doing post-storm inspection. So she called me and I was in a house standing in 6 inches of water and mud. And my sneaker was stuck in the mud in the yard. So I had 1 barefoot and 1 sneakered foot and I was not happy. And I was just like, and she goes, but we will give you, because you were told the wrong information. I'm like, oh my gosh. But we did get them out. I just found it. I'm worried that things that should now be disclosed, price wise, you know, fee wise, are not. And then an agent is surprised by them. And I don't think that's fair.
So this is what they wrote in about that, because this just came out today. It says, this is from RMS, which is first loss guarantee. It says the update, there will be no reference to the tech fee in the MLS, but it should be communicated during the offer acceptance process. The MLS does not mention compensation. This is to be discussed during the offer acceptance process. And then it has new public description of property requirements and examples. And then they want us to put in the comment, you must detail compensation. So let us know if the buyers agree to pay their agent a compensation. It must be included here.
And something, and just to echo, the 175 tech fee that, they offer, they make mandatory for prop offers, say to put it in MLS. I don't put it in MLS, never have, because I got fined once years ago, many years ago, and I've never done that before. So I'll tell the asset manager, I appreciate you telling me this, but I will tell the agent, but we cannot put this in the MLS. We will get fined. So
Yep.
I just, and the asset manager will understand it, but I mean, they do these rules, right? But they don't know what we have to do on the back end. So yeah, it's kind of wild west, as I said earlier on one of my calls. It's going to change tomorrow, right? There's going to be a new form.
It's the messy middle.
Now
is
that
what it
song
is.
is stuck in my head too. Thanks. I'm just gonna be bebopping along.
Yeah,
every
you're
time I think about
welcome.
Wild West.
Well, the reason why I was late, I was listening to the NAR. Remember, I said NAR, so
Oh,
NAR
yeah.
webinar. The stuff that they said, I was like, whoa, they should have said, every one of your states is gonna be different, because everything they said, we cannot do here in California.
Exactly.
And I know other places as well. And I was like, nope, that's wrong. Nope, that's wrong. Nope, that's wrong. And they're telling everybody, do this, do that. She specifically said that you could put in your MLS, call listing agent to find out, here's my cell number. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know any MLSs that are allowing that. Like, everybody's getting fined for that. And they flat out said on the webinar, it's going to be recorded. You guys can all see it in a couple days. I was like, whoa. And she's telling people that they could do that. You cannot do that.
I bet it doesn't get recorded now.
So it's a mess.
The messy
They did
middle.
say, which was surprising, everybody's been posting on the forums, and they said they're going to be putting in the super boxes, what the compensation is. Their attorney legal person was answering the questions in the boxes. They wrote in there that, yes, you can do that because it's outside of MLS. And I'm like,
Exactly. You can.
it
You-
says you can. So says you could put it on your signs, you could put it on your,
Yep.
but other people are telling people you cannot do that. But according to NAR legal, they said you can.
Well, according to our broker, our state broker, that you can put, if it's in the listing agreement and the seller considers something, you can tell an agent via email or text that they will consider, as long as it's in the listing agreement, which makes sense, right? I mean, I was kind of against it. I was like, just submit your offer, but this agent's like, I need something in writing. I'm like, what if I have nothing to give you?
Everybody's gonna be asking.
Well, that's your entitled Beverly Hills agent, though.
Yeah.
So this
Andrew.
isn't for REO. It's Mark Reber here. But what I did is I just created a simple website, co-op.lancohomesale.com. So a subdomain of what I have. And in our state, we're still offering co-broke, and we have a state form for it. And anytime anyone's asking about my listings, I just text them back the link. And it's not tied to the MLS. You can't click on my single page website that I made for free through Google onto the MLS or anything. And a lot of agents in our area are doing that. And even one brokerage is. So we're just sharing links, and that way it's in writing for everyone.
And for those in California, it can be 2 clicks. So 2 clicks.
That's the other thing the NAR did not say. There's only 24 states that still allow co-broke.
Oh, is
So
it only 24 now?
only
Yeah.
24. So 24 states allow co-broker, which means those 24 states, the agent can sign a cooperating broker agreement, letting you know up front, this is what the commission is. But that's only 24 states. The other states cannot do that. We cannot have anything signed. Everybody's like, just get it signed up front. Only 24 states allow that. If you look at our zip forms and most people's zip forms in the other states, we no longer have a cooperating broker agreement. It's gone.
So I have a question, Brandy. I know we're getting off REO, and I apologize, but so if, like EXP, there's 15,000 EXP agents in California. If California was one of those no co-broke states, you're saying that if you're EXP and I'm EXP, you can't represent the buyer on my listing?
It's just before, we used to have a cooperating broker. So if it wasn't on MLS and it didn't say
Oh.
what the commission is, we would get it signed up front saying, you are agreeing to give me 2 bananas or whatever it
I
is.
see.
You cannot, so only 24 states are allowing that. So like his state allows it, which means he could get it signed. Someone could get it signed up front and they know right up front what their commission is going to be. Everybody else has to just go with whatever the listing agent tells them. And a lot of brokerages are telling people to not tell people at all what the commission is, which means you could only have to put it in your offer and see what you get. But in those 24 states, you could have it signed up front and you have an agreement. It's signed saying you're going to get 2% or whatever. The other states, it's kind of up in the air.
I see.
Until you get your RPA signed with your actual addendums that say what your commission is.
Right. Well, Angela was saying that in Washington, they still have the buyer agent percentage in their MLS. They're fighting it, right?
Okay, no, this is the thing. Let me clarify on that, please.
Okay.
Northwest Multiple Listing Service is non-realtor owned. They are not owned by the Association of Realtors. So they have chosen not to abide by that because they want 100% transparency to everyone, including the consumer. So they are allowing us to leave the co-op percentage for the buyer's agent in there, but we decoupled our seller and our buyer commissions back in 2019. So that, I mean, we've gone through all that bit a long time ago here, but it's just Northwest MLS. And if it's a realtor owned MLS, they are not allowing it.
Interesting. All righty then. Should we take this ship back towards REO?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was good. That was good information. I appreciate all the masterminding. So what else, REO? We've got we've only got 12 minutes. So what do you want to talk about the last 12 minutes of our call? You see Robert Weikelt's on. Hello.
Jeff, you were in Orange Grid. Have you seen anything?
I just got an email from Todd Broughton yesterday.
So funny that you say that.
Yeah.
He says, I'll tell you what he says. He says here, let's see, Todd. Does everybody know what Orange Grid is? Well, actually, Orange Grid, Todd Broughton used to be an executive over at ResNet. And he started his own company, Orange Grid, some time ago. So he's been trying to get the REO side of it up for some time now, and has been a struggle because he says that they have a new shiny object. Here, he says here. Oh, he says REO is a standstill for our customers. Every day they find a new shiny object that's not REO related. The market's extremely volatile right now, which means until there's clear direction where the market is going, these services originators are going to continue shifting priorities. We'll all have to be more patient with REOs, but the chemistry does not show signs that REO is going to dissipate. That's what I got back. So I don't know. I mean, the hope is they get them. I mean, I think that there's going to be a lot more REO, come second quarter of 25. A lot more. And right now, I mean, I think there's a good handful or more on this call that have well over 10 REO assets, including myself. So, I mean, I don't, like Robert Weichelt says all the time, I don't wish REO on anyone or foreclosure. But when it does happen, I want to be there to help, right? So, but I guess where I'm going with that is there's quite a bit right now, and when there's people out there saying, oh, there's not any REO, well, there is quite a bit actually all over the country, some more than others. And you know, Christmas, fourth quarter, we all know is going to be light because of the holidays and whatnot. But come January, and then when we get into, you know, April of next year, I feel like it's going to be pretty busy in the REO side. Larry, I'm not sure if Larry can still hear me, but we've got agents in some states that have gotten, they've got like 70 REO assignments, 70 from EXP, not, you know, from different REO management companies, but just from EXP corporate, because they're doing a pretty good job at, you know, finding REO accounts and getting business for their agents, their REO agents, that is.
We have pockets that agents have gotten 20 and 30, you know, this year. So
Yeah.
it's pockets. It's not like widespread.
And again, I feel like the values, relatively speaking, are much higher in a lot of places. And a lot of this is that zombie inventory. It's inventory from a long time ago. We've got one in Fullerton right now that just as soon as we got the assignment, we got litigation papers against us, EXP, US Bank. So that's going to be a fun one. But this guy hasn't made a payment since 2005, right? And he's very good at what he does. Obviously, he just litigates. But there's a lot of those that are finally coming to head and going into foreclosure, letting the system process them through. We all know COVID pretty much put everything to a halt. We got all the forbearances that came out of that, and from that created more REO because everybody started spending all their money on other things versus their mortgage, and now, you know, they're behind. So there's a lot for us, but like Stephanie said earlier, we all need to just diversify. I made that huge mistake back in 2009, 10, and I paid a big price for it. So don't anybody ever rely on REO or any source at all, you know, for that sake. Anybody have anything else? We can get our 8 minutes back sooner, or we can do one more quick topic.
Oh, the only thing I mean, I know everyone is pretty seasoned on here, but just a reminder to introduce yourselves to neighbors when you get a new REO. That's helped us tremendously with some of them recently, with break-ins and whatnot. Yeah, but or even like an issue with like trash or a water leak or something. So just make sure you're handing out your cards. Just a friendly reminder.
The other thing they do is send you buyers.
Yeah.
Yes, I was just gonna say, yeah.
I had one call me today. I haven't even rekeyed it yet. I just gave her my card to keep an eye on it for the next few days because we're at the end of redemption and they're stripping it slowly. So I'm like, if you see anybody here, they really shouldn't be here. Just let me know and then call the cops. But somebody, I guess, went kind of looking around, and she came out and she's like, "What are you doing here?" So he called his realtor in a panic. And his realtor called me. He goes, "The neighbors are keeping a very good eye on the property for you." I'm like, "Yes, they are."
Yeah. Well, when we were
they do send you buyers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do send you buyers, absolutely, and then they're good watchdogs. I had, we were doing that personal property eviction that I was talking about in Long Beach, and the neighbor came over in his walker. He's like, "What are y'all doing here?" Right, and he saw me. He's, "Oh, okay, Jeff's here, all good." So it was, and he called me. I mean, I can't believe he was brave enough to go there. But two things I just wanted to touch on real quick is redemption. Wait, are you guys getting an assignment after the redemption expires? Are you getting the assignment right when the trustee sale happens?
Right when the sale happens.
That's what I thought. Anybody, because I'm watching Property Radar every day, and every foreclosure I see, I go after, right? I'm looking at the deed of trust. I'm figuring out who the beneficiary is. I have one that just went in the city of Orange. It's like $5 million. So I, found out who to text, or email. They text me back, "Oh, it's in redemption, and we're gonna wait the 45 days or whatever before we, talk to any agents." So I, of course, drove up, did a BPO on it, and sent them a bunch of photos. But I just was curious because I've never had somebody wait until after the redemption. Usually, you want to do an OC check and get a BPO.
Yeah, I get them right away.
Yeah,
They
okay.
have the 45 days, but I get them right away. Because we're not
And-
listing them yet. You usually get them, but we're not listing them anyways when we first get the assignment, so they don't
Yeah,
list them until afterwards.
You're not doing anything with them really, right?
Yes,
Except-
all you're doing is occupancy check, so we still get them right away, then they just have us check, and I've had ones that have been redeemed. So they just let me know, hey, Brandy, we're taking this out of your inventory. So they've been redeemed and taken out, but I didn't do
Yeah.
anything on it except for check the first occupancy and pictures, let them know if it's occupied or vacant.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
That's what I-
I get them, but they get still bought at the courthouse. I mean, a third party, so I get a bunch of those. And then I never get them because third party will buy them.
And then the last thing, I've seen a lot of third party. You know what that is? Remember,
A lot of third
people are saying, oh, there's not gonna be foreclosures because everybody's got equity. Guess what? Those are the third party sales. They have
Yeah.
equity. That's why they don't go REO. And there's a ton, there's more of those than there is REO. So yes, people are right when they say, oh, there's not gonna be any foreclosures. Everybody has equity. No, there are gonna be foreclosures. They're just gonna go third party to investors.
Yep.
Or they're gonna be in redemption. You're gonna have some fake nonprofit organization or our government buying the homes. Okay, last thing I want to talk about is that Radian message, Kelly. The Radian message that went out.
Oh,
The Radian message states
Thank you.
that the way they interpret it with their legal attorney,
Gotcha.
which they're incorrect, by the way, but the way they interpret it is that the seller cannot pay commission. That is actually incorrect, but somehow that's how they interpret it. So they're letting everybody know that the seller cannot pay commission, so you have to actually write it in the offer as concessions to be paid. So I don't know how they got the interpretation. What worries me is that they're gonna go to other banks and make them have that interpretation. And I'm like, wait a minute, how did you get that in the first place? Because they're the first ones who got that interpretation. There's
Right.
no one saying the seller cannot pay. The seller could pay.
do we know anyone at Radian that we can talk to? Because you also have the limit of concession, so you can only give a certain number of a dollar amount of concession. So that's not gonna, it doesn't make sense. So that was my concern when I read it. I was like, wait a minute, we need to talk to someone because that isn't the interpretation, right? But
Me
yeah.
too, but that's not a blanket statement for everybody in Pyramid. That's just for Radian, right?
Correct. Home
Yeah.
Genius.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
no, Home
Oh,
Genius. So
okay.
that's just for Home Genius. It's
Correct.
just free if they start talking to other banks and then they all try to get on that same wavelength. That's like, whoa, that's not what it means, but.
And
so
that
that's
was my
just for Home
concern too, Brandy. Yeah, that was my concern too. I'm like, well, then, yeah.
We'll just have to let it all pan out, but I just want to get that in the open so everybody was, oh, so we're all on the same page here. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, cool. Anybody want to do a motivational thought of the day? I love to do that at the end of my calls. Anybody can bring it.
Be like Nike, just do it.
Here you go.
All
We'll
right,
see you
I'll take
guys.
that, Brandy.
We'll
Thank
see
you,
guys
everybody, for
next
thanks.
month before 5-star.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, great
Bye-bye.
call. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye,
you,
Eric.
guys.
Bye.